You know, I was sitting here reading one of my favorite books when it just occurred to me, with a day like this, weather being horrible and all, you know what would be perfect? A big bowl of chili. Maybe I can get Chef to whip us up some. Let's go find out. Benson's right. Today is a good day for chili. And for today's chili, we're gonna make deer chili. That's right, we are gonna smoke a deer neck. That's what this big old roast is right here. We're gonna put it in the smoker, go ahead and get the pellet grill running. We're gonna slow smoke this guy at 225 until we get an internal temp of about 160. Then we're gonna take our pot here, which has been sitting in the smoker for that same amount of time with all these good vittles in it. We're gonna mix the two together and we're gonna have some chili to slap your mama. It's gonna be so good. Now, to begin this process, again, this isn't really complicated. We've got ourselves, this is the deer neck. Now, typically you take this right here and you'll turn into like ground venison or sausage or what have you, because it does have a lot of silver skin in it. It is one of the tougher cuts, but that's the power of slow smoke. It will actually loosen this stuff up and turn it into something really good. So we've got our deer neck. I'm going to use beans in my chili. I know for some of y'all, especially you Texans, that's a big old no. But the beans will actually stretch the chili some, and well, I kind of like it that way. I don't know. I was growing up, we always had beans in our chili. So to hear that this was a controversy actually kind of surprised me. I just assumed chili always comes with beans, but apparently it doesn't in Texas. But we've got 4 cans, and this is a mixed bean. For this, it is actually a combination. We have the kidney, pinto, and black beans in one. Now, if you can't find them already mixed up, well, get your beans yourself and make whatever works for you. I mean, if you want to do it with, chickpeas, nothing stops you from doing that. But I got my 4 cans of beans, 2 cans of diced tomatoes, a can of Rotel. We're also going to throw in some tomato soup just to kind of richen it up some. I'm going to use just 1 poblano. I'm not going to go too crazy on this. You could go 2, 3, depending on your flavor, but we have some folks around here that have a delicate palate, and the fact that I'm throwing 3 jalapenos in there, well, that's going to push the edges just a little bit there. I'm going to use about 2 cups of French's makes this chili seasoning called Chili-O, and it's pretty straightforward, simple. Again, put it in there with whatever chili flavor, powder, whatever you like. I mean, make your own blend if you really want to go crazy. I've also got a red light combination here. That's right, green pepper, yellow pepper, red pepper. We got a stoplight we're going to put in there. For the roast itself, we're going to slather it. That's right, cover it up with mustard. No, you don't taste the mustard. Any of you who've cooked before know this, but this is your first time doing a smoke. You coat it with mustard and it doesn't taste like a big old mustard ball, all right? Just trust me on this. And once we get it done, I've got some seasoning from Lane's Barbecue. We're gonna use their Fiesta blend. And they're not sponsored, I don't make any money. I mean, you go see them of your own free will, but they do have a lot of good seasonings. That's why you're seeing their stuff pop up on a show, because, well, I believe in them. But if you wanna sponsor me, call me. Now on the last order, they also threw in some Spellbound. This is more of a spicy, and so, we're gonna drop it on the top of it as well. And we're gonna make it in this big old Lodge pot, which, by the way, I recently restored. That's on a video that's coming up, but I wanted to get the chili out before I did the video on all the work that went into turning this thing nice and pretty and black again. So step 1, let's get this cut of meat, the seasoning on it, and get it on the smoker. So that way, again, because this is going to be several hours, and I want this thing to get started. So, well, let me clear it up and get to work. All right, now I've already gone through, and like I say, I have pulled a lot of the silver skin off, but literally with this cut of meat, you could sit here and you could just pick, and get so much of it off, and you can spend hours doing it. Well, I'd rather spend hours cooking and eating than prepping something that really, during the second half, it really won't make that much of a difference. So to begin this, well, let's start at the bottom, because that's the part that gets hid. So we'll go ahead and flip this guy over. All right, now that it's flipped over, let's go ahead and give it a bath. Now, yes, I am handling this with the hands that just played with the meat, but because this guy's about empty, basically once I'm done, it'll go into the trash. You got to keep your workspace sanitary because you don't want to transfer things. Because what happens if there's something on here and then you touch this and then you put it in the fridge and then somebody else comes along and grabs this and puts it on their burger and shoves it in their face, they've just transferred those germs all the way around. So you have to have a little bit of a sanitary mind as you're doing this. So let's go ahead and bathe this guy in the good old yellow mustard. Now, also, as you're trimming this and cleaning it up and everything, I'd honestly say go ahead. If you find like a big area with some fat on it, normally like with a cow or something like that, you'd want to keep that for flavor. But the problem is with deer, it's completely organic meat for one. I mean, there's no preservatives, no additives, no nothing. By that same token, you don't know what they've been eating, and sometimes the fat can pick up some of that flavor. So, like I say, for deer, not the best idea to use just every little bit of it. All right, we got our binder on here. Now let's take our Fiesta from up high and just give it a nice good coating. Again, this is a large piece of meat, so you're gonna use quite a bit of this. And even though it's called a rub, don't rub it in. If you need to pat it in, that's fine, but don't rub it because you'll rub the stuff off. What's the point? Why do they call it a rub when you can just rub it off? That doesn't make sense. All right, got a good healthy bit on the bottom. Let's see, let's take this in corners, shall we? Because it is almost a square piece of meat. And we will once again sprinkle from up high. All right, now that I've done everything I can do to hide what piece of meat this is under the rub, we're gonna take our temp probe and we're gonna get it kind of right here in the middle of it, a good thick, heavy part of it, because we want this whole thing to cook. And in this case, we're gonna smoke it until we get to 160. Yes, 165 is what you're actually after, but once it's done, it's going into the chili pot and it's going to marinate for about 2 more hours in there. So we'll get it up to temp. So let me get this guy on the smoker, and while we're waiting on it to hit 160, let's go ahead and prep the rest of it because, well, there's no big hurry because this is going to take a long time. So be right back. All right, so while our neck is a slow roasting, it's time to get the rest of this stuff toasting. That's right, poet, and you didn't know it. We're going to start out. Let's go ahead and get a little flame here. We are going to roast our peppers. We're just going to stick them on here. Now you can just literally drop them and leave them be, but what I want is to get a char on these guys so that way they kind of blacken and it just brings a little bit more of the flavor out. Now for those of you who have electric stoves, sorry, this ain't gonna work for you. You're not gonna get that char going on with the electric. Well, not unless you maybe cook hibachi style, but I don't think that's really good for the burner. All right, we got us a little bit of char on those. Now the other peppers, of course, well, we're not gonna char these. We're just gonna slice these bad boys up. So time to chop chop, shall we? Time to take our big boy cast iron pot that, again, I'm really proud of because it restored really well. Now it doesn't quite fit on here perfectly, but it fits close enough. We're gonna pour us a little bit of pan grease in here. Since it don't fit quite square on here, it's leaning forward. Well, I guess we'll be cooking on the front side of it, shall we? We'll go ahead and get our onions and our peppers in here. Now we're not looking for like a real big, deep cook. We're just kind of softening these things up a little bit before they get out there on the smoker. Let's go ahead and start prepping our garlic here. We're just gonna cut the ends of them so that way they come off a little easier. And then, well, you can take your knife and smash them, or you can just take out a little aggression and just kind of, So usually this works out to be pretty good timing because by the time you've got the garlic peeled and cut, the onions and everything, well, they're ready for the garlic. You know, it's funny, there ain't a thing but veggies in here, but man, this is already smelling pretty good just from that. Now, while that's still going, let's go ahead and kind of chop on our garlic. Well, in with the garlic. All right, we're looking and smelling good. Now, let's go ahead and start adding the rest of our flavor additives. We're not draining any of these cans, by the way. We're just straight pouring everything because you're going to need a little liquid in this. Both cans of diced tomatoes. Our can of tomato soup, condensed, of course. And now a history lesson. There's not a pull top on the Rotel, but that's okay. We have this relic from the 80s here called a can opener, and we are going to use it to gain access to this here lovely deliciousness called Rotel. Just that easy. Remember this, if the power goes out or the world ends, you might need access to some of your pre-war food. All right, so now for the beans, because we are going to need liquid with this. We're going to take 2 cans and just pour them in as is. That way we got a little bit of that bean liquid, and then we're going to take the other 2 cans, we're going to drain them first. That way, while we get some of the flavor, we won't get overwhelmed by it. All right, so now time for the peppers. We're going to take what we blackened and just scrape that right off. And we'll take this 1 jalapeno, and we're going to reduce the heat a little bit because, again, while I like it, I'm not the only one eating this chili. So we're just going to scrape out our center line here. That way we get this main vein here and most of the seeds out. And what you're left with is not a whole lot of pepper. I mean, there's still a little bit of heat in it, but it's not so much that, you know, well, you pay for it the next day when you go to have a seat. Now you see I cut these up into, you know, not bite-size, but just so that, you know, if you do get one and you're kind of picky to the heat, well, it don't slap the tonsils out your mouth. And now our poblano. You see how easy this char just comes right off of it, but it does a great job of softening up the pepper. And also, you don't have to get 100% of this char off of it. If you leave a little bit, it's just going to give you some of that smoky flavor inside of it and, well, just help out with the taste a bit. Just take the top off of it and there's your seeds and, well, we're left with the hull. Now we slice and dice. Now, although we got a bunch of good stuff in here, well, we're still missing the seasoning. That's right. If you want the chili part of it, and like I say, this is a preference thing. I mean, however you want it to taste. You could cook this down and probably have a pretty fine meal, but for now, well, we're going to take our 2 cups of chilio and bloop, add them boys right in there. Boy, that has changed the color and the smell and everything. But now it's time for that secret ingredient. That's right, Lane's Hot Spellbound. And then it says right on here, so good makes spicy barbecue disappear. Well, let's see if it's so good it makes spicy chili disappear. I'm assuming they sent me a single serving size because, well, I'm doing 1 single serving of it. All right, let's see what we're tasting like on the front side before we hit the smoker. You know, just in case I need to add a little something on the early side of the game. I ain't got to add nothing. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. And I can't wait till the smoke flavor gets in here and then we add the deer meat to it. Ooh, lordy. Now, like you see, we're just starting to steam and bubble. That's right where I wanted this. So I'm gonna turn this guy off and, well, let's move the party outside and set this guy on the smoker. All right, old Smokey's sitting here at 230 degrees. Like I say, it's set for 225, but you're gonna get fluctuation. And from here, we're just gonna set this big old pot of goodness right on in here. And now, well, now we just wait. I mean, there's really not much to do other than, you know, I don't know, play tiddlywinks, go hit up the video games, lick the spoon. I mean, y'all didn't see that, right? So we're gonna sit here and let this go, like I say, until the temp probe on it shows that we have hit 160 on the deer. And at that point, we're gonna pull the deer. about every hour you need to come out and stir the chili, so that way it's going to get a little bit of a skin on top of it, and you don't want it to become a crust. So you stir it in there, and that keeps everything from sticking. So, well, we'll see how long it takes, because right now it's 12 o'clock in a beautifully, craptastically wonderful day. So we'll see what time dinner's ready. Check back with you soon. All right, we've got our neck smoked out. So now, well, let's go ahead and slice this guy up. That's right. All right, so after trimming off the neck and getting everything situated, I've got about 3 bowls of the neck meat. That's right, this stuff right here. Now, I'm not saying I didn't maybe take a sample of it, but this stuff is really good so far. Now, we're gonna take this and put it into the chili outside, and we're gonna let it go ahead and, well, simmer up for about an hour. And that way this will finish cooking in that chili, which, by the way, right now it's a wonderful, wonderful vegetarian chili. But we're about to change all that. So we're gonna put these 3 bowls of meat into it. And, oh, give me an hour, and well, I'll check back in with you then, and we will see how things are going, because this chili is so good. Oh, looky here. That's right. We have got the chili among us. Ooh, look at the steam coming off of this guy. I'll tell you what, this thing is just waiting to be devoured. Let's see, let me give it a stir here so that way everything gets mixed up together. I mean, look at the steam coming off of this guy. Nothing says chili like, well, chili. I'm gonna put a good quick mix in it to make sure the bottom mixes with the top and the top mixes with the bottom. All right, we got a good mix on this stuff. Now, the question is, how does this here steaming pot of goodness taste? I mean, look at that right there. I tell you what, this is the chili that I have been waiting almost 8 hours to devour. That's right. I got 7 hours of cooking the neck, plus once we cut it up, another hour of it letting sitting there, just marinating with this stuff. So I tell you what, I got 1 chili pepper left. Let me go ahead and slice this guy up. That way we got a good presentation. We'll just trim this guy down to a few little pieces here. So I got my jalapeno sliced up. I got a little bit of sour cream here to go on the top. Oh, I tell you what, I have been waiting all day to sample a good bite of this stuff. Now, I know the chili, before I even put the meat in it, it would have made a absolutely amazing vegetarian style type of chili. But then once we put the deer in it, whoo, I tell you what, and we got good bites of that. I mean, here, let me pull up to the camera here. Let me show you what we got. I mean, this looks absolutely amazing. And I'm telling you, I've been waiting hours for this. So guys, it's time to chow down. Y'all gonna hold on, because I gotta get more than 1 bite of this. This is freaking phenomenal. Oh, I tell you what, this stuff, this is absolutely amazing. I mean, the dogs even started barking when I took a bite, so I had to wait on them to finish. But ooh, this is good. Guys, I don't know any reason why you shouldn't make this. I mean, look at what we got going on here. The steaminess, the heat is absolutely perfect. It's not overwhelming. It's got a good background flavor to it. It's not like, oh my God, this is hot. This is really, really good chili. So all I can say is 2 things. One, if you don't make this recipe, you are missing out. Now, again, if you don't have access to deer, you could even use ground beef in here just to get that same flavor. It just wouldn't take you, 5-6 hours to cook. It would take you a lot less time. But the fact that this is so delicious, and the fact that that Bigfoot is real, oh, guys, this is gone. I mean, I'm telling you, this is absolutely great chili. So until next time, you guys take care, and make sure to watch how I restored this pot, because this thing was rough before I started, but now, Ooh, it just made one of the best dishes that's come out of this kitchen. So you guys take care. Till next time, see ya. You know, come to think of it, Benson is right. Today is a good day for chili. And for days, today's. Where'd the screw go? Okay.
Alright, go lay down.
You're furry like me, dog.
Go lay down.